So let's get started.
Right.
Okay, guys, we're here with Brett, and we are talking about Peter Lehmann wines today. A winery that we've enjoyed a lot over the past few years. You were here with us about this time last year.
Yeah, September.
We did a full tasting where we got to try the wines side by side with previous vintages and stuff, which was really, really cool. But yeah, if you want to talk about yourself, what you do within the
Yeah,
Peter
sure.
Lehmann.
Yeah, sure. So I'm the senior winemaker for Peter Lehmann. So there are 5 of us in the team back at home, and we spend a fair bit of time working very closely with each other on all the blending and making sure that we've got a lot of different opinions involved in every decision, so that we can make hopefully the best judgment at the end of that.
Yeah, well, I could definitely say that the bottles that come out definitely reflect the good side of that.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, so tell us a bit about the story of Peter Lehmann, how it came about, and really who is Peter Lehmann, because, well, not to interrupt on the story, but it started, Barossa Valley was basically on its knees, wasn't it? And then it kind of went from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the late 70s, and there was so much wine in excess at the time in tanks that the company Peter Lehmann was working for said, look, go out to your growers and tell them that you can't take their fruit anymore. And Peter said, well, I can't do that. These are 4th, 5th generation Barossan settlers that had all they had as their livelihoods was to grow grapes and sell them to make wine. And Peter had established all of these very important contracts and handshake deals essentially with these growers, and these relationships were very important. And Peter said, no, I'm not doing that. So in the end, he found some investors, and he was able to buy that fruit in a little company he created called Masterson Barossa Vineyards.
Yeah.
And then that fruit was able to be made into wine. And Peter said to the growers, look, I can't pay you fully. I can pay you a certain amount for your fruit, but I'll pay you when we can sell the wine. And they're like, yeah, we trust you, Peter, because they had no other home for the fruit. So in the end, the next year, that actually worked quite well. And the next year he was told, no, then we're not taking their fruit again, and you can't process the wines here anymore. So Peter ended up having to find more investment, and he started his own winery facility as well in Tanunda, which is where today our cellar door is. Yeah. And from there, the rest is history. And the next year, the Barossa pulled out a heap of vines in the South Australian vine pool scheme. And fortunately for us, those growers now still bring that fruit to us. Didn't have their vines pulled out the ground, and we have now some of the oldest vines in the Barossa Valley.
Yeah. What would you say about the Barossa Valley wines? Have they evolved throughout the years? Like, whenever Peter Lehmann started bringing all these people together, was it a good quality wine then? Because I know Barossa as a whole is quite a small wine region when you compare it to other wine regions around the world. Yeah,
we're about the 10th for size of Bordeaux. Yeah. And our history goes back to the 1850s, which is when the Barossa settlement was first established from German settlers. Yeah. And our quality, I think, has definitely improved over the years. And what we've done is championed Barossa Shiraz across the world. Yeah. And then since that's become prevalent in industry, we've gone back and gone, okay, so now we've got to make sure that we maintain that prevalence. And so the styles of the Barossa Shiraz it's a very versatile grape Shiraz. Yeah. It's great. You can make rosé from it. You can make full-bodied styles, or you can make more of a Syrah, lighter, peppery style. And so you'll see in our portfolio we have quite a few Shiraz products throughout the world, and each one is very different. And so I think the Barossa region as a whole has learned to diversify the styles so that we can appeal to so many different tastes. So Barossa Shiraz isn't just Barossa Shiraz anymore.
Yeah, no. And you talk about Shiraz there a lot, but it's not the only grape you grow there.
Certainly not. No, in fact, well, the second largest planted variety is Cabernet Sauvignon, and of late, particularly the Barossa Cabernets have really been getting a good name for themselves for quality and consistency around the world. We also have grown Semillon, Chardonnay, and Riesling from up predominantly in the Eden Valley sub-region of the Barossa. So We've got, there are sort of key varieties, but we still have a lot of plantings of old Touriga, Montepulciano. Do you
ever think about releasing a Peter Lehmann Montepulciano, or is that do you use that as a blending grape at this point?
We do it at the moment, just as a bit of a extra pop of, say, purple fruited sort of flavours. It's really quite a lovely variety. Yeah, I would love to make a Barossa Montepulciano.
I know a couple of different wineries do takes on Italian grape varieties.
Yes, yeah.
So it would be quite interesting to see. I don't think I've seen a Montepulciano. It might be out there that I just haven't seen. But
yeah, there are a couple floating around the Barossa, and they're really interesting wines. And I think as people's palates diversify and we're looking for something a bit more interesting or something just different, for a change. Yeah. Then you can pick up these wines and be assured that the quality will be pretty good coming from the Barossa. But our climate is very similar. To a lot of those other regions where those grapes come from, where their homes are, and so we naturally can grow them just as equally as good.
So talk about Shiraz and Grenache there, and we just done a tasting downstairs for those of you who don't know. We tasted all the wines, and you mentioned briefly about potentially looking towards like a Rhone Valley style of things, so Grenache, Shiraz, maybe a little bit of something else in there as well. You said about you've done GSMs in the past.
Yeah, so there are a couple of really good, well-known labels in the Barossa that have produced some cracker GSMs over the years, and it's something that we've dabbled with a bit. We've got our own small planting of Grenache on the winery site there in Tanunda. And that fruit, as it's aging, is becoming more mature in flavour, and so it's likening itself more and more to all these beautiful GSM blends. We've obviously got great Shiraz, and we do have some Matara Mourvedre that our growers provide us as well. So we've got the propensity there to make a really, really lovely juicy style, where the rest of the world might be, sort of the GSMs are maybe a little bit more dusty in their tannin structure. Our GSMs, as we have played around with them in the past, are really quite fruit forward and vibrant and delicious.
That'd be something personally I would look forward to. I love Rhone Valley blends, and I love the Barossan Grenache that you do is like still up there as one of my top wines. So to see a GSM would kind of just marry everything together for me. So that would be interesting, just from a selfish point of view.
No, I'm with you. I love them just as much.
So we'll talk through a bit of the range now. We've got a few of them in front of us. So we'll start with the Hills and Valley. It would be.
Yeah, so Hill and Valley's our. It was originally designed as an offering for our on-trade customers, so they could have a wine that was affordable, great value, and could be on the menu as a pour, or just something that at the time and still isn't available in larger retail. So we have some really great bottle shops around the country that here in Ireland and the UK that are ranging this wine as a beautiful expression of Eden Valley Riesling. So the Hill and Valley range as a whole represents the place where whether it's the Barossa or our neighbouring districts, where the vine naturally grows the best flavours. And so Eden Valley is our home of Riesling from the Barossa. So that's why we've popped that in there, where the Shiraz and Cabernet are from the Barossa Valley floor, those deep alluvial soils where they show the most varietal characteristic.
Yeah, we tried the Chardonnay and the Shiraz downstairs.
Yes.
The Chardonnay had a nice freshness to it that was really, really good, really. And then the Shiraz as well had a really purple hue to it, I noticed as well, which was really interesting.
Yeah.
Compared to the let me get this right now. It's not the mentor.
The 8 songs.
Yes, the 8 songs. Yeah. It's a bit more red in colour, but like you do get a lot of fruit coming through on the Hills and Valley. I got a little bit of spice on the finish as well, which is quite nice.
No, the winemakers select that as a really interesting parcel. So where the 8 songs in the Masters series is quite a more rich, dense, traditional Barossa Shiraz weight, the Hill and Valley is just a little bit prettier, a little lighter, but really demonstrating those pretty floral fruits, I suppose. And with Hill and Valley too. It's those younger fruits too, so younger vineyards maintaining some really nice popping purple colours like we saw.
It's a really good range, but my favourite of the ranges, just value for money, taking into account the Barossan range. It's absolutely fantastic. So we stock the Chardonnay, the Shiraz, and the Grenache in that.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So what makes that different from the previous? Obviously, the location. But
so Barossan is all Barossa. So the Chardonnay is from the Barossa Valley floor, as opposed to the Hill and Valley Chardonnay, which is from Eden Valley.
Yeah.
So it really shows that density and richness that the soil's providing for the grape. The Shiraz and Cabernet in the range too are quite that very traditional Barossa, but our key that we're always talking to ourselves in the tasting room and reminding ourselves with these wines is softer. So where you've got really lovely piercing, refreshing acidity in the Hill and Valley. When you come into the Barossan range, we're looking for something that doesn't stop your conversation until the bottle's empty, essentially. And you just can sip, enjoy. There's no offensive tannin. It's really quite approachable style.
Well, something that I noticed through the whole range, like when you compare wines from around the world, we'll talk about the Stonewell after, but even up to the Stonewell, when you spend about £50 on a bottle of, let's say, French wines, when you open a £50 bottle and drink it straight away, you get hit with that tannin straight away. But with the old wines, you really don't, and that comes back to that softer, and it really does make a difference. And it's really good that you can just crack them open whenever you're ready and just start drinking, rather than having to plan an hour in ahead. Which can be a bit frustrating. Sometimes,
it is,
where you're really thirsty for a glass of wine, but you have to wait. But no, you definitely, and then the name Barossan is obviously coming from Peter Lehmann himself.
So Peter Lehmann referred to himself and to the locals as Barossans. People that come from the Barossa, like an Australian. A Barossan is a local. And so and that goes back again to his love and care for the community of growers and the community of people in the Barossa. Because come hell or high water, he wanted the Barossa Shiraz to be taken to the world stage as the best Shiraz in the world, and to really sing the praises of the Barossa and our beautiful heritage and great wines that we can grow there.
I definitely think you're hitting the mark with that one. And then we'll move on to the next range up.
Yes, the Masters.
The Masters range, So we stock the 8 songs, which is the Shiraz, the Mentor, which is the Cab, the Margaret, which is the Semillon, and the Wigan, which is the Riesling as well.
Absolutely. So these are all named after these 4 wines. A special time, place, person, subject, anything that had a very a path-forming influence on the Peter Lehmann history. And so Wigan is named after our very first winemaker, Andrew Wigan, who championed this style of Riesling in Australia. The Wigan's Australia's most awarded Riesling. It's put Peter Lehmann on the map at the International Wine Challenge as winery of Australia a number of times, and has won best wine of Australia 6 times. That wine. So it's a style which is obviously loved and recognised internationally. But the key here is we're snapping that Eden Valley Riesling flavour of citrus, lemon, lime, lemon sherbet into the bottle as soon as we can after vintage. The winemakers here don't get a lot of play. We literally get that fruit off the vine and process it gently, get it into the bottle. So there's no oak, there's nothing special from our point of view going on there. But what we're doing is presenting that in a as we tasted on the vine, essentially. But then the key is to give it 5 years in our cellar of maturation before it releases. So by the time it's in the customer's hands, we've done all that hard work of aging. We've got it through a period of its life where it's maybe a little bit could be easily bruised, I suppose. And so you can crack it open and it's ready to go.
So when you talk about it sits 5 years in bottle in the winery, is that exclusive to the Wigan, or is that across the whole?
So that's the Masters series. That's I guess the basis of that program. So the Margaret Semillon's the same. And unlike other Semillons, there's no oak again, no lees work, nothing too fancy, because we need to preserve that fruit freshness. And so into the bottle nice and early after vintage, and 5 years in the cellar and ready to go.
One thing that's really striking on the bottles is the chest pieces. Each one has a different chest piece. What's the story about that? What's going on there?
So this refers to Peter Lehmann and his, I guess, the history. So the starting logo and the starting brand story was that gamble that Peter Lehmann took by leaving his work cashing in a lot of his superannuation. The people that went from that winery and started with Peter Lehmann, they were going to a place where they didn't know, they were giving up their income essentially to trust that Peter would one day provide that back to them. And so they were all taking a bit of a gamble.
Okay.
And so the first logo for Peter Lehmann was the Queen of Clubs, the gambler's card. And so that appeared on our label for a good 25 years. And the club became our logo, our King logo. So you'll still see the club on the top of the capsules.
I've noticed that,
Yeah, but we went through a process of a couple of years. The wines bore the symbols of the chess pieces. And that was in reference to the Queen and the King, also taking part in that game. But Peter used to sit in the weighbridge and play cards with the growers after they had delivered their fruit. They'd sit around drinking the wines and talking about, it was a real it was a real mental health boost for the community.
It sounds like he didn't just help them financially, he helped the whole community as a whole and help foster that. And you can see it with not just Peter Lehmann wines, but the way that wines from the Barossa Valley have really grown, that he really has had an impact, and it's grown massively to that. So,
certainly.
You talk about the Queen. Is that got something to do with the new wine that's coming to us very soon?
the Queen, sparkling Shiraz. Yes. So originally that wine was called the Black Queen, after the Queen of Sheba.
Okay.
And this is Peter and Margaret's take on, once again, their love of special people that had important impacts, and the arts was another very key part of our brand story. But the Black Queen is a very unique style, but you get it in someone's glass and they're like, wow, what is this? It's method champenois. It's 3 years on its lees in the bottle, after it's already spent 12 months in old oak. So it's a selected parcel of Barossa Shiraz we choose. It's soft in tannin, rich in blue and red bright fruits. That 12 months in oak really softens the tannin, and then the extra time in the bottle on the lees for the secondary ferment is just amazing. So it's a passion project, because it's something that takes about 5 years to make. But it's just a stunning wine, and it's a benchmark style in Australia that people try to copy almost.
I've been wanting to try it for a while. I was just flicking through Instagram one day, and one of the wine reviewers, I can't remember who it was trying it and said how amazing it was. I sent it to Paddy straight away, and I was like, "Can we get this in, please? I really want to try it." And he was like, "I've already spoke to Charles. We're trying our best to try and get it in." So it's definitely been on our radar for a while, and we are excited to get it in. It's due in potentially before Christmas. I'm not going to say that for definite, but we're hoping it'll be with us.
Should be, soon. Should be looking at stocks and where they're moving around the world.
And the last one that we have here is the Stonewell. So Stonewell is our icon wine. So the winemakers, we have roughly between 100 and 140 parcels of Shiraz each year to choose from. So each grower that delivers us our fruit, we try and keep those premium parcels separate for as long as we can in their own group of barrels. And then when they finish their malolactic ferment, we do the tasting, which takes about a week. And we basically narrow down to the top 10 wines. And we don't know who has made those wines. You don't know what the volume is of those wines. The bottles just have a number on them. So it's all very secret squirrel. But at the end of the process, the top wines, which produce only around 1,000 dozen a year, go toward making the Stonewell. That grower has to put a lot of extra effort into the vineyard to produce that style. It's very what Peter Lehmann used to call little black jewels. So really concentrated little berries, very low yielding vines, often from vines that are 120 years old. The portions will go into Stonewell. So it could be made up from one grower, but often it's 2 to 4 growers that contribute to the Stonewell. And they have paid a healthy bonus for delivering us that level of quality fruit. So it's a bit of a competition amongst them. Fosters some competition, definitely, which is quite good. And the name Stonewell, it's a really interesting name. To me, it doesn't really follow on with some of the names of the other things, but I'm sure there's...
No, this is back to our provenance. This is back to our area, I guess. Okay. And the winery is located at the southern end of Tanunda in a sub-region called Stonewell.
Oh, okay.
And in the early days, Peter had decided that the fruit that was growing in that Stonewell region was spectacular. Right. And so it was coming from the Stonewell vineyard, which we still own today, which is great. But as the Barossa expanded and grew, we realised quickly that the area to the north of New York, right toward the end of the top end of the Barossa Valley, was producing even better fruit. So occasionally we'll have fruit from the Stonewell going to the Stonewell, but more often than not it's coming from Light Pass and Ebenezer toward the northern end of the district, where the soils are deeper again, a bit more sandy.
Yeah. So it's a case of, like, it does follow that name Stonewell, but you find the best grapes.
That's right.
To produce the best wine.
Yes. So yeah, it's only fair that if we're going to be creating our best Shiraz, that the best fruit goes into it. So like I said, occasionally from Stonewell as well, portions will go in. But the name itself is now what represents quality and an iconic wine. It's now listed, or has been listed for some time, on the Langton's classification, which is an Australian classification system which identifies wines that are among the most collected wines, but also wines that are consistent, and that consistency is demonstrated over many years.
Yeah, wow. One thing we were talking about a little bit downstairs was the age of the vines. And you're sort of saying there they're over 100 years old, and I think maybe Paddy said something about if that had come from Bordeaux, it would have been celebrated around the world, and it would have been £5,000 a bottle. Yes. Whereas we're retailing the Stonewell at roughly £50 a bottle.
Yeah.
How come there's that disparity between the two? Do you feel like it's better for the consumer because of that, so you can get more people trying it and enjoying it? Or... Yeah,
and that's definitely one of Peter Lehmann's mantras, I suppose. He wanted everyone to be able to enjoy the quality of Barossa, even if you were not able to afford the top tier. And so he wanted to make it not exclusively available for certain people, but everyone can enjoy a Stonewell occasionally on a special occasion. And I think also, back to vine age, a lot of areas around the world were infected with phylloxera, which killed off vineyards, and the Barossa is still sitting on its own roots in its own soil from when it was planted. We're very lucky to have a very good program of quarantine in South Australia. And so we're looking after those vines are able to flourish and continue to grow. But it's something that Stonewell's often put in leagues of other Australian wines worth maybe £300 to £400 a bottle. But it's like you said, around that 60 odd mark is it's great value for such an iconic wine.
It is. It's quite approachable, and it is. I think for a lot of people it is a treat wine, but it is worth it because you are, like you say, you're getting that £50-60 bottle where it should be quite a bit more. I definitely recommend it to people. Definitely try. But the whole range we've really enjoyed, and thanks for giving up your time today. I know you've got a very busy few days travelling around, speaking to a lot of people like me. But is there anything you want to leave us with? Anything you want to say about the wines that we haven't covered?
No, I just think I think our focus here is delivering wines that are generous in flavour. Refined. They're not a clumsy style. They're quite an elegant style, but one that really, I think, drives our brand story forward. Brand Peter Lehmann, but brand Barossa and brand Australia. We're not the old world, new world thing is not quite the same when you notice that we have some of the oldest vines in the world. So you've got to look at the modern winemaking technology we have available to us, and the fact that we can make these beautiful clean wines that demonstrate value. That's what we're all about. And we're great to have such great supporters we have from teams like yourselves. So thanks very much to you too.
Thanks for coming on, and we'll leave it there. Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you. Cheers.